Yeah, we've not said anything on the show.
We've never said anything. Oh my goodness. Wow.
And I'm Ifunanya. Join us every
I know many of you are new to my radio show here. This is the People's Perspective,
Yes.
TPP on Lagos Talks 91.3.
Dr. Seun and Ife on the People's
And it starts at
Perspective
11.
every Friday.
Yes, with the most beautiful co-host.
Talks 91.3.
I'll start charging people on this TPP. I mean, they can't just be looking at it for free.
Oh my days. All right. Alrighty, very good morning. It's 9 minutes past 11 this fun-filled, fantastic Friday. Welcome to the most enlightening, the most entertaining, the most informative show on radio. It's the midday show with me, Ifunanya, here on Lagos Talks 91.3. And as always, Fridays 11 a.m. You already know what we kick off with. Your favorite show, talking about the people's perspective, and my unequivocal co-host, Seun Anikulapo-Kuti.
Hello, everybody. How on a day?
How's it going, Seun?
Yeah, I'm happy, Good to be back. The dream team.
The dream team,
This is
I
our
know.
first show together this year.
No.
Is it the first?
I don't think
It's the
so.
first, too. Have we done show together this year?
That started at 11 a.m. actually. Yeah, the last one that we did together, I did start at 11.
This is the first full show we are doing this
This
year.
is the
Yeah.
first full show.
Yeah, TPP.
I love it. All right, show. I know that a lot of people who are tuned in to your live. So we're live on 2 platforms. We're live on Seun's Instagram as well as our Instagram page at Lagos Talks 913. And I know a lot of people are here because of what's been going on for the past, 48 hours on the internet. We're not going to start with that, okay? Because on TPP, what we do is that we highlight the top stories for the week, specifically focusing on politics. And as we know, there has been a build-up, or there is a build-up to the 2023 elections. A whole lot is happening in that aspect, as well as what's been going on in Nigeria, the state of the nation, the plight of the people. It's the people's perspective, so we need to see things through your lens. So we're going to be starting with one of the most important areas. This is something that literally makes or breaks your way of living. It determines the quality of life that you live, and I'm talking about the amount of cash that you have, or you have access to. And we know.
If you are big, you are big. If you are big, you are big.
Come on. It's not 3,000. Is this still 2,000?
It's 3,000
It's now
now.
3K.
I'm dumping money in my pocket.
You know what? I know you're actually you are richer than
Who
me.
is balling like this? Who is balling like this?
Nobody.
3 notes, the new
Literally,
ones.
nobody's balling like you.
Making it rain. People are looking at me in this studio with strong eyes. I'm not happy to see these notes.
It's unfortunate.
Now between Nigerian new note and Visa now, I don't know the one we had to get past.
You know what? I feel like they're both at par with each other.
Abi? Because the queue for
It's
ATM
ridiculous.
past the queue for embassy.
So is it safe to say that a good Valentine's Day present will be bundles?
Of cash.
Because of cash.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
before it used to be a thing and people would just laugh about it or smile about it, but now I think that really makes a good Valentine's Day present.
I can confidently dash somebody now $1,000, $2,000. I cannot dash you 2,000 naira.
Okay. You know what? Let's practice. Dash me.
I say somebody, not
What
for it's not you. I for say I can confidently dash if you 1,000,
I
2,000. I say somebody.
Say call the person's name.
No, don't worry. It's a secret. And you already cost me gift money that's cost that kind of. Let's not talk on this thing. By the way, send me your address so they can deliver it.
Don't worry, guys. Don't ask.
Don't worry. This is co-host business.
Anywho, so let's get into it now. We understand that there has been a scarcity of the new naira, due to the new monetary policy by the CBN, the redesign of 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira. It has been daunting to actually get your hand on some of these new naira notes. Now, there has been a back and forth, and there are different narratives that are flowing that we still can't place our finger on what really is the cause. Now, we know that the CBN had set a deadline for the use of or the exchange of the old naira note for the new naira note, which is February the 10th. However, this was being appealed against in court, and the Apex Court, the Supreme Court, has actually told the federal government to adhere to shifting this deadline, because a lot of Nigerians who are trying to be proactive, they went to actually drop their old naira notes at the banks, and now for them to access the new naira notes,
that's where me too I messed up.
It is a huge problem.
That's where I messed up. Nigerian people, even my daughter, her piggy bank.
Oh,
I told her to
so
break
that's
it. Me, the most distrusting of Nigeria, I was trusting of the Nigerian government. Never again.
It's unfortunate. Now,
We get broke her piggy bank. We took all the money. We went to the bank like good citizens and put it there.
so what did you explain to her? Have you been able to explain to her that it's not like you're hiding the money?
No, she's understanding Nigeria.
She
There comes a time in your life where you understand your country.
Yeah.
In that moment.
this is
She's understand.
It's
This our country
unfortunate.
is not all right. She's
It's
getting it
unfortunate.
now.
But now, just you speaking about, the different narratives that we've been hearing. On one hand, the banks have come out to say that they're not getting enough naira notes, new naira notes from the CBN. On the other hand, the security operatives had to get involved. I'm talking about the EFCC having to go on surveillance across banks, across Nigeria, to see if really these banks are hoarding the naira notes. They did actually
They were holding it,
arrest,
yes.
some bank employees who are said to have been holding the naira notes. Now, the CBN has actually come out to say that on a daily they disperse these funds to the banks. So there's a narrative that says that the banks are trying to sabotage the new policy, whilst the banks are saying we're not getting enough money from CBN. And I believe, before we even get into the analysis of this, I believe this is, it could be showing of our inability or our lack of capacity to print in terms of the demands that we're seeing right now. We're looking at the Nigeria Security and Printing PLC. We know that they had released some data in the past talking about the capacity that they installed and the amount that they're able to print per year. Sorry about that, per year. But from what has been going on, now my thing is this exposing the capacity or the lack of capacity of the printing press, or is this really a case of sabotage by the banks against the policy?
I think one of the main problems that even the NSPMC has as the Nigeria printing, I'm happy, I will not criticize the fact that at least we're trying to print our money in our own country instead of importing naira as we import petrol to a place where there's crude oil. So let's not, they are still young at it, it's new. So let's encourage it so that at least it stays that way. Because according to Emefiele, this is the first money we are printing by ourselves. It's okay. But I think the major issue is that the naira itself is not worth the paper it's being printed on.
That's interesting. Why do you say so?
Yes, I think how much does it cost to print 1,000 naira? Let's check it. Maybe $2. $2 is what? 1,400. So what? So we as Nigerians need to come up with our own intelligent and African way of currency. Our currency is so much not in our control that for me this is not even the big issue. How about the way our currency has just dipped?
Yes.
People hoarding the money in their homes. This issue of hoarding money, according to Emefiele, was for me kind of mind blowing when he said they disbursed 3.6 trillion in the Nigerian economy, and only 1.2 trillion are in the banks. So definitely some people are just hoarding money for the sake of looking at it. So this has to change also.
Okay.
Maybe it is these same people that have, because of their power and influence, as they return their old one, they took all the new ones too.
Interesting.
Who knows? Who can doubt it? And we sit down every day. This is the issue I have in this country. We have a president in this country. The president is the executive director of Nigeria. I don't like looking at nations like business. But many people in Nigeria only understand government in concept of business. So when there's this kind of confusion, banks say they don't have money, CBN say they're giving them money, it is the president's duty to clear the air.
Okay.
Somebody has to come outside, and it's only the president, somebody that nobody is above, to say this is what is happening. Is what Nigerian people, the things we are going through right now, is not what our president's voice. This same president is willing to travel. Before one word, they don't go Davos. Before they don't go UK. Before what, he's willing to travel anywhere. He's old.
Yeah.
He's stressed himself. But to just go inside TV room in Aso Rock and tell Nigerians, oh my people, this is what is happening. Oh, relax. We are going to do this. So we know for a fact. Don't be say CBN say we have money. But if the CBN has given money, let President tell us that I have the documents here that are showing that the CBN has given. I mean, because these things have paper trail,
Yeah.
but we the citizens can, and we put you there to protect our interests.
So I mean, there's a few things that I just want us to address, because you're expecting that the president will come out to make a statement. However, in his tenure, hardly did we see him come out to address, specific issues that affected the general public. So I don't know that when it's towards the end of his tenure,
No, but that's
we're
what I'm
expecting
saying.
that to
That
happen.
is the vacuum.
Yeah.
This is the vacuum that is making the situation worse. It is the vacuum because we are operating without information.
Indeed.
So there's panic.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what's going on. Is it Emefiele that is lying? Is it the banks that are lying? So nobody knows. Banks are closing down. And during the week, people need money. People don't have money. People are stuck. My trumpeters couldn't even come to rehearsals on Wednesday. And I'm in the middle of writing an album. So on Wednesday, I was just busy working with my rhythm section all day. I could not make progress on my job. Because it's not even about we that we can move around in our cars. It's about people that work for us that are not driving.
Exactly.
That need money to enter transport to come to work. So this thing is snowballing into so many.
Now, I want us to, analyze from a narrative that says that this is somewhat connected to the upcoming elections. Because we're seeing, if the bankers are saying we're not being given enough notes, and the CBN is saying, no, we're dispersing enough every day, what does that have to do? Because like I mentioned earlier, there are different narratives. What does that have to do with the upcoming elections? There are some people that have said, they're trying to stop vote buying. How does that affect vote buying?
No, the money for buying vote has already been secured. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, please don't let anybody tell you that this money scarcity is affecting anybody that needs to buy votes. Because they've already bought the votes before now. I keep telling people it's not the 1,000 and the 2,000 or 5,000 that they give the poor people to vote on election day that is the vote buying. The vote buying actually starts when bankers help them launder the money they will use to buy the votes. When press people take brown envelope to launder these people's images to the public and make them look like some kind of demigods, So these acts by the professionals of Nigeria already is the vote. It has happened. You understand? The people, INEC officials have already compromised. The police, the army, the people that will do the job they've been paid. So all that 1,000 you see, and then the same professionals that have taken their own money before election, they'll just start shouting, we'll stop taking 5,000 for election. That is not vote. That is not the vote buying. Okay. That is not the vote buying. By that time it's too late. Because what do you want the common man to do? Your envelope as journalist don't secure. As musician, you don't go do your own show. You don't secure. Banker, you don't launder, you don't secure. Everybody don't secure. You call this poor man, you say you don't secure.
What are your thoughts about another narrative that says that this is a taint of the current administration to affect people's perspective when they go to vote for this particular political party, if at all they're going to be voting for this political party in the next elections?
Well, for me, they said if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, is most likely a duck, And Nigerians are quite ahistorical, I always say. We forget things too quickly. Just rewind yourself to 2015. The last time, we are trying to change an administration in this country. This is the same way. This is how the elites also negotiate. Everybody negotiates their interests.
Yeah.
This is the period, If you look at during Jonathan's era, everything too shut down. Except this money one is new. Because we didn't have currency changing in 2015.
Yes.
But there was no petrol, there was no diesel. In fact, MTN was going to shut down. Some telco shut down. This one shut down. DSTV said they only have diesel for 1 week or something. It was ridiculous. I bet people forgot it. It was ridiculous. You know. So the elites of Nigeria, you know, are not above, you know, putting hardship on the majority of Nigerians for their own selfish interest. You know, I mean.
All right. If you are listening, please feel free to join the conversation. What are your thoughts about the back and forth currently being experienced in the area of the naira note, the scarcity of the newly redesigned naira note? We would like to also know what your experience has been like. Just driving down Awolowo Road, it is a menace. You know, at first it started with the petrol queues. Now it's the human traffic at the ATMs. And I also even saw this in Port Harcourt, where I happened to have visited
ridiculous.
recently. I thought it was really bad in Lagos. Wait till you go to other parts of Nigeria.
Go to Songo. You know, Lagos, you know, this is the city. Lagos, one street, I mean, I think it's in the heart of Lagos. Allen alone, my area, Allen, we have at least 9 banks with at least 40 ATMs.
Wow.
Some areas,
Just one.
one ATM for the whole local government.
All right.
You go seek you yourself go fear.
Let's get your calls. What are your thoughts? Please feel free to join the conversation. And just looking from your perspective, indeed, where do you think the possible fault lies? Is it with the bankers who are hoarding the cash, or the CBN who is not giving out or disbursing enough naira notes to these different banks? 0809-234-5913. 0809-222-0913. 01515-0913, 01515-1913. You can also call us up on WhatsApp and send a message on WhatsApp as well. Our WhatsApp line is 0809-234-5913. Lagos Talks, good morning. What's your name? Please turn off your radio.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. What's your name, please?
Yeah, this is Tonero from Oloja Papa.
All right, let's hear you.
I don't know, they said today is the deadline, so nobody's having any news concerning whether they have postponed the date or nothing has been said, and people are confused whether to continue the old Naira note or not to continue the new Naira note. So we are confused right now. A lot of people are confused, and the banks are shutting down. So there's so many things happening right now. So I want to let us be aware.
Yes.
The president has not spoken, the CBN has not spoken. They say today is the deadline.
Yes.
The country today is not the deadline. So we don't know who are we listening to. Whether it's the CBN governor
or the Supreme Court.
President.
That's a good question. So a lot of ambiguity.
So we need the number one citizen of this country. We need him. You know, this is the time he needs to. I mean, look at your children. I mean, we are the children of this government. Government is our father. We are the children. Look at your children. Look at how we are suffering on the streets. We are not saying come and perform miracle. We are not even saying come and end the crisis. Just come and tell us what is going on.
It's rather unfortunate that a lot of times we have seen instances where the government was tone deaf, because you just made a statement. You said the people are suffering. You know, this is not the first time that the people unfortunately have been subjected to such treatment. So my question is, how were they treated in the past, and what do we expect, you know, differently right now? Do we expect them to, you know,
but at least that time, you know why this time is different? That time, at least, in the suffering, if you can hustle your way to some cash, you understand? You can ameliorate some of this suffering. But now, if after you hustle, the cash to not even balance the suffering, you can't get your hands on it. So somebody has to come out, because right now both of our hands are tied. You know, the hand of the suffering, the hand of suffering. You know. Then you have to hustle out of the suffering.
It's time. Let's take this one from WhatsApp. Lagos Talks.
Hello?
Hi, good morning. What's your name?
Seun by name.
My namesake. Welcome to the show. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, welcome. Let's hear you. Join the conversation, please.
Okay, I think we have a lot of work to do. Because I don't stay in Nigeria, I stay in South Africa. And it's so crazy the way things have gone. Like, you know, we have bad roads, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So right now, I think the only thing I want to address now is for us as a Nigerian. We all know who this man is, and him, handling the materials for the INEC is actually a big, red flag for us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what Seun has to say about this.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's start with sticking with what we're talking about right now, and then we will, graduate to other things. Lagos folks, please turn off your radio. Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Igwe Simon.
All right. Let's hear you.
I'm calling from Ogun State.
All right, from Ogun State. What are your thoughts?
Okay. In fact, I want to know because exactly what the first caller was saying, that they contain the naira issue. Because everybody's confused now, they don't know where to stand again.
This is what we're talking about, the ambiguity and the uncertainty.
Somebody needs to say something. Somebody with the final word is with the president here. I mean, whether we like it or not.
And even with the Supreme Court, how is it being enforced? So the decision by the Supreme Court, how is that being enforced? Because like someone mentioned, there are some banks that are like, you know what, you're not going to stress me out. They're just closing up.
And this is where, for me, I just feel like the elites of this country continue to let us down in every sector. Whether be it the telecoms, we give them billions. They are billionaires from me, charging us an arm and a leg, but just to provide quality service. Invest in the infrastructure. The money they will use to buy this in a lie, they will take and go chase gay. The money to build new masts in a lie, they'll take and buy a new car. Employ good technicians. Go and take our local boys. Send them to MIT. Send them to all these big schools. Invest in them. Let them come back and use their expert. Now lie. Same thing with the banks. You've not put bank branch in every corner of this country. Yet, as bank MD, you have houses in every corner of the world. You understand? This myopia is what is destroying this country. Now look at all of them going to meet presidential candidates. Your job as bankers, you have not done it. The whole country is reeling from the pain right now. Instead of them to tell us, work on the solution of how their banks can stay open and give Nigeria some banking services. Not lie. It's politicians that are chasing all over the place. Doing meeting with politicians up and down. Shining teeth. So for me, I mean, this is why I have no belief in these people. Because they really don't have any love. They don't show that they have any love, because all of them, they all have two countries anyway. All of them have two countries. They are not all Nigerians. Everybody have house everywhere in the world. Anything happen here, they will run away, I guess. Maybe that's why they behave like that. Because if you are the elite of the country, you should be doing things so that people will be envious of your country.
Indeed.
These are the only people that they don't want people to. You don't want to live like, look at my country. You don't want to be proud of your country. You don't want to be proud of your house. Look at my house. Look at my car. Look at my plate. How about being proud of your country? At least do your job. Do your job.
All right, so we're going to be moving on to other stories that have been trending. But before we do that, I know that we've been getting comments via Seun's Instagram Live as well as Instagram Live at Lagos Talks 913. And I want us to get some comments from there before we move on. Seun, what are your people saying?
Okay. Apart from the Peter Obi and...
No, we're going to get into that.
No, but there's the argument of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, they're arguing about that amongst themselves. Okay, so Joy, is there anything on our Instagram?
Well, it's almost the same thing. So someone is saying, market your candidate and let us make our choice.
Okay. So speaking about, it's like you're really here for this candidate conversation. We're gonna get into that shortly. Let's take this call. Lagos Talks. Good morning. What's your name? Hello. Lagos Talks. Good morning. What's your name? Please turn off your radio.
Hello, Ify. How are you?
Very well, thank you. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Val.
Val. How are you? Are you ready for your birthday?
I'm alright. I'm doing great.
Val, for this time.
Yeah.
So what? I will wait for you later on. But for this particular topic, this CBN issue, I think the problem is where the issue of that selling of votes to come in is will be the liquidity level within the system. Now, if they take 3.2 trillion within the system and only 500 billion is within the bank. The only thing they needed to do was to smoke up. Now, if they introduce this currency, I think they did a kind of design, reducing the quantity that was supplied within the system. Instead of maybe 1.4 trillion and the same thing, let's say 300 billion, at the same time into the system, the only issue now is both those money efficiently. Then if you bought 300 billion, by 900 billion or 1.2 trillion comes back, you can't.
Ooh, wow.
And in order to control, no.
All right.
Hello?
Yeah, we lost you at some
They are trying
point.
to control. Okay, I said what they needed to do was to try to control the money is supplied within the system. So if you send 300 billion, what you would have done was to
Val, we apologize. We can't really hear you, but thank you for your contribution. Okay, swiftly, let us move on to a conversation that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to over the past 24 hours. Seun, you have been trending across social media platforms. You did go on a podcast. Oh, yes, you have.
Oh, my God.
You did go on a podcast where you, as usual, were very unequivocal about your stance, especially on the 2023 elections. And we do believe that sparked or triggered some responses, especially from musicians. Now, taking a look at maybe a couple of things that you had mentioned regarding the Labour Party candidate. So I don't want us
Not
to just
only the Labour Party candidate.
listen, I don't want us to only just dwell on that, because I know that triggered a whole lot, but I want us to, take out the next couple of minutes assessing the three candidates of the three top political parties who are vying for presidency. And the reason why I say this is no doubt that these three individuals have a large following, people backing them. And these individuals, amongst or within their portfolios or their manifesto, their specific areas of strength of which they are pushing as their main narrative of, oh, this is the reason why I should be the next president of Nigeria. Taking a look at, Atiku Abubakar, if you look at his manifesto, especially things coming from his followers, him representing the PDP, you would always hear them talk about him helping with the consolidation of banks in Nigeria at the time when he was the vice president. If you take a look at Tinubu, who is the APC candidate vying for presidency, you would hear people talk about how he championed the modernization of Lagos State. If you take a look at the Labour Party candidate, Peter Obi, you hear people talk about his financial management prowess, especially when he was governor of Anambra State. They come up with these three major areas as reasons why they think they should be the president, and the followers and the supporters also say that those are major reasons why they believe that these people would make a good president. But you also made a statement, when you were on the podcast, talking about Nigerians being the ones who can actually save themselves, talking about Nigerians being the answer if we mobilize. And I know that we keep talking about this, and we've been talking about this, even prior to the elections, talking about Nigerians mobilizing.
Yeah.
So I want to know from your perspective, on one hand, you say Nigerians should mobilize. On the other hand, Nigerians are saying, these are the three, candidates that we believe would make a good president. So what are your thoughts about that? Isn't that mobilization enough, or you think they're mobilizing for the wrong reasons?
Maybe they didn't understand the point, but I guess a lot of people did understand the point. The point is that Nigeria is not run by the president alone. So if we're putting all this energy into voting for a president, why not also put the same energy into removing the governors and the senators in the state assembly and the national assemblies? Why not bring in a full team that can actually deliver what we want? But when we start pushing the Messiah syndrome, it means we're not really interested in our country. We did the Messiah syndrome 8 years ago. I was 32. Buhari is coming to save Nigeria. Buhari is coming to save Nigeria. I'm 40 years old now. The experiment is a failure. So are we going to do another Messiah experiment for another 8 years? And if the first thing I said was, I first said Showore, who is my favorite. I said it. This is why I don't work with him, because I told him we have to have a broader movement that is not only championing Showore but championing senators for each state. We're bringing all these people to the fore that we're bringing a full new administration to the people, not championing some kind of messiah, psycho fancy, Nigeria, hey, dancing behind one person as if you just go there and wave one magic wand. Because it's impossible for any president in Nigeria that is not in PDP or APC to control the Senate that is PDP and APC control. I mean, even Buhari, that was APC. Do you remember what he did for his first 4 years? He was fighting with his own senators. His own senators were doing him Maradona, left, right, and center. Bukola Saraki showed him Pepe. So, I mean, and they were in the same party. So now imagine somebody from a different party, you know. Okay, now let's go to the states. How about the states? Lagos State, especially. Look at what happened during NSAS. Is there nobody's talking about a candidate to replace the party that's been ruling Lagos for how many years? If you really don't like Asiwaju and you say Tinubu is a bad person, was he president before he became all the things you say you don't like about him? Isn't it this Lagos State that made him those things that you complain about? So if you really say, is it by him not being president that he'll become weak? If he doesn't become president, he remains as he is. He remains as he is, which is extremely powerful already.
Okay.
So what are we saying? If you are truly for the benefit of the Nigerian people, we won't be looking only at a messiah. We must be looking at all the ways. And that's the point that I was making. And I was saying to people, if you listen to the whole podcast, that this energy we are using to follow messiah now, because it's cool. This is the time to do politics. I hope not as soon as we do it, we will not stop and forget that we still have work to do in front of us. Because no messiah can come as nobody can save Nigeria except Nigerian people put in the work, except we make sure that we continue organizing, working towards bringing a people's movement to remove this elite from power. We're not tired of these rich people just ruling us for their interest, you know. Then Peter P. Square, because I said Peter Obi is an opportunist. By the definition of the word, when somebody takes advantage of a situation, it makes him an opportunist. Now, opportunism is not necessarily bad, especially in business. In business, opportunism is golden. Is the golden ticket. You know, you are preparing, you meet your opportunity, you strike. That is business, profit and loss. But in politics, opportunism is bad. Whether we like it or not, opportunism doesn't work well in politics. Because politics is not profit and loss. Politics is life and death. Life and death and profits and loss are two different things. So, you know, opportunism is great. Everybody likes an opportunist in business. But in politics, it's a different thing. You understand? And I pointed that out. And as a Nigerian, as a citizen of this country, I have the right to criticize anybody that says he wants to be my president. I have the right to look through anybody and say, that doesn't give anybody the right, except that candidate. If the thing really, the candidate feels that what I've said, you know, he doesn't represent him, he can come up with a rebuttal. He has spokespeople. Oh, what Mr. Seun, that I would respond in a political way. We can start a political conversation. If their supporters are talking, I won't answer. But if people like Peter P. Square now feel that they want to personally attack me based on the political opinion, we'll go enter one trouser. Because you know, you can't even happen. I mean, I cannot be bullied, especially cyber bullying, virtual bullying when they come out here for person body. You know, I'm not the guy. You know. So, and I also made statements like that about even Showore and people from AAC have not jumped on my head, you know, to start calling me names and all sort of saying all sorts of things about my family, you know.
All right, so before we carry on with this is coming from Omajua from Delta, saying, I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude towards Seun Kuti for his enlightening message this morning. He touched on the important issues of Mr. Peter and his brother, as well as the current challenges facing Nigeria, such as the fuel and bank crisis. Seun Kuti's emphasis on knowing one's history and roots is truly inspiring and serves as a reminder of the significance of understanding our past. I also applaud Seun Kuti for addressing the larger issue of hierarchical structures and lack of accountability in Nigeria. By promoting individual responsibility and working towards creating a more equal society, we can overcome these challenges and create a brighter future for our country, is what he is saying. This is from Michael saying, good morning, Ife and Big Bird Kuti. Well done, guys. Please, Seun, tread softly with Peter P. Square. After election, Nigeria will still remain. Let's stop the bashing and insults. These are rulers, not leaders, and they're not meant to die for everyone. And everyone should be guided. So that is from...
Well, I didn't bash anybody. Now they come meet me now. I didn't see anything about P Square or anybody. You know, now they feel so they be Power Mike and Mighty Ego.
Let's take this call from Olurami from Tottenham. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, it's me, Seun Kuti. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Hermie. How's it going?
Yeah, this is Rem from Tottenham.
My friend.
Not good there.
How you day? Up at the cage. Up at the cage. Up at the cage. No respect.
So, please, you see, the only source of depression for Tottenham people now is Arsenal.
I don't say I don't feel sleep. When I don't feel sleep for down that area.
Mental health. I know you can pick goals, friendship park again because it trigger emotional instability.
It is too red. It is too red over there.
It's okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. You see, Seun, I totally agree in a broad spectrum of political examination. I totally agree with your line of thinking. Because when you look at political movement around the world, especially contemporary movements,
Carry on.
Contemporary movement, you see, like in Germany now, the Green Party is now part of the coalition. And many years ago, nobody cared about the Green Party, but they persisted in building up their movement. In South Africa today, you have the Economic Freedom Fighter, Julius Malema.
Yes, the EFF.
He probably might not become the president until his dying day, but he's making impact. I mean, you have the range of these people all along. Now, calling Peter Obi an opportunist, I totally agree, but you have to take your chance or chances at every point in time. That's what he did. And by the way, he did not contest for the PDP primary. He actually dropped out before the primary. But I think at this point in time, Nigeria is faced with making a difficult choice. 18 presidential candidates. I think it's now the time for people to use their brain. Make a choice. Either you will choose, you have a guy who said he wants to keep your children in school for 8 years, and he failed to do so, and he even has you to call him bastard if he didn't achieve that. If that's good enough for you, make a choice. Personal attack on ordinary citizens attacking one another is not the way at all. We need to really build this movement. The redemption we seek will not come in 2023. I think we should think of how to build a bigger movement so to sweep this political entrepreneur out of power. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I mean, you made my point exactly. You know, and as I said, if you see your chance and you take it, I'm not criticizing that. That is what it is. That is what he did. You know, for me, I don't support that in politics because of my own political leaning. It's not by force. As it's 18 political candidates. 18 in this country right now. Look at all these parties have senators, they have governors. My issue with the press is why are we not highlighting these people? Why are we not bringing their educational background to the fore? Their president, where they worked before, their ideas. Why are we focusing Nigerians on these same people that have been there, done that, had their chance, you know, and didn't do anything?
Yes, and that's a very, very pertinent point to highlight. However, Seun, just looking at the mindset of the electorates themselves, who are more comfortable in aligning with someone that they've known for such a long time, don't you think that also does play a role in the inability or the difficulty from
How
us
did
moving
they know these people?
from where we are to a better Nigeria?
Did these people did they go to all Nigerians' houses to knock on their door and introduce themselves? They are known by it's through the media. And this is why I say the media keeps dropping the ball in this country. There's the massive brown envelope. They don't know if to do their work. If the work no relate to envelope, it is not worth doing. And that's the problem. Until we as Nigerians take our responsibility in every faction of this country. As a journalist, don't wait for brown envelope to tell the truth and do your job. If candidates need exposure, do your investigation. Nigeria has 18 candidates. Do your investigation and let the people know the truth. That is your responsibility in the media. That is your responsibility. If Nigerians don't know the truth about the presidential candidates of this country and we're not familiar with them, it's not our fault. It's because our media is not telling us the information that we need to make the right decisions. That's why I keep telling Nigerians that, so in that case, please try and make your own decision by yourself. You understand? If people are letting you down, now not just follow the bandwagon and drop your brain. It's the time for you to now.
We also move, because there are specific factors that we always have to consider when we are making analysis of politics in Nigeria and governance in general. We know that we are strong in identity politics. So aside, the role of the media, which is very key, we're the fourth realm, right? What about identity politics, where people are more aligned based on ethnicity and religion?
Yes, that also is born out of the lack of development of Nigeria. Because they are not, as I've said, we as the professionals of Nigeria, we have not done our job really, That's why we always want to mortgage our destiny to all this, instead of us to do our job. Our job as professionals of Nigeria, I said it in one of my lives, say we our ancestors don't help to open eye. Not be just say, make only we they see. We open eyes so that we can help our brothers to open eye. We have to help the people of this country. We don't know. We have some little comfort with this oppression. We have to invest some of our resources into organizing ourselves to build bridges with our brothers that have less, that are in the rural areas, that are in the so-called ghettos, that are in the so-called slums and shanty towns. We need to go to them with the information of this world that we have, with the knowledge that we have. Help them see the light. Help them know what is going on. Organize with them. That is the only way that we can remove the yoke of these people from our, and the boot of these people from our throats. Because so far, they're the only ones that go to those people and lie to them. And give them all sorts of conspiracy theories and fantasy stories on what is wrong. Pointing them to their fellow poor brother as the... let me tell you an example, for example. Okay. Everybody now in southern Nigeria hates headsmen. Headsmen, right? Yeah. This is simply because this is the people that control the poor. These are the poor people on the end of this crisis. We forget that every headsman is an employee of a rich Nigeria. Every headsman is employed by a rich Nigerian. Why are they not mentioning the name of their employees and employers? Yes, who are their employers? Headsmen. I say headsmen, they just fall from heaven. So this is how the media is able to manipulate information. Simple, like headsmen work for someone. It is the job of the Nigerian. If the government doesn't want to do their job, Concord newspaper is the one that let Nigerians know what happened in OD.
Yeah.
This was one of the last vestige of investigative journalism in this country. That is what the media is. That Obasanjo and his regime went, or rather his administration. But when you are killing your own people, not the regime did that. I don't know what to say. Anyway, Obasanjo and his administration went to that town because of Kenunwega that killed those policemen and killed everybody. Nobody said anything. The government did not tell us that it happened. The police did not come and report that such a thing, that the military came to commit a crime there. Yeah. There were no investigations. Nobody knew. It had happened in 1999. The work of liberation. They just come and give us rhetoric. We'll line up behind their back. And in our act of acting in their act, we now say that we are acting. That's an illusion of action. We are not acting. Only the political players right now are acting. You supporting them is not you acting. That's not acting. That's an illusion of action. Because that's not your act. You don't know what decision did he make with you. What do you know he's planning? Except what they've told you. Because you didn't organize with them. You didn't build with them.
So, Seun, a lot of the things that you have said are heavily predicated on, reorientation, because you've spoken about how individuals act in their own little sphere of influence. You did mention, lecturers having to take monies from students, as bribe to pass them and things like that. Where does this reorientation come from? Because a lot of people have, based on their experience of Nigeria, they've come to a point where it's either kill or be killed. It's a jungle out there. The race is for the swift, the strongest man wins, and obviously that is also predicated on selfishness.
Yes.
Right? Having to want to self-preservation, I should say. Right? Which could be selfishness to
Yes,
some extent. Right? So where does that orientation come from? Where people are looking around them and they're like, but I need to take care of myself. You know, other people out there are not looking to take care of me. So why should I also make that sacrifice?
I wonder what would have happened to us if Nkrumah thought like that. If Pa Mike Modu, who led the 3 million man strike in this country that led directly to the independence of Nigeria, even though they don't mention his name because he was a poor man. In case you don't know, it was poor people that liberated this country. The coal miners of Enugu and Aba, the market women of Aba, the market women of Abeokuta, of Lagos. And they erased their name from history, and they start telling you about Olowo and Zik and Amadou Bello, Oyibo boys, that they used to bamboozle us and sell us Oyibo dream as independence. If these real independent fighter, the freedom fighters, like Nkrumah and Pa Modu in Nigeria and Thomas Sankara and Lumumba, if they had thought like that, will you even be able to use the phone today? Will you be able to enter a bus? You know, in this country, in this your own country, at one time, you are not allowed to enter this island. This island, all of us did like this. It was only for Oyibo and their special blacks, like the Ziks and Co. and the Awolowos. You know that? It was some people that fought for you to have the right in your country to even to vote in your own country, to have a job, to go to school. Somebody had to sacrifice something. So when we're still in the mindset, when you're still in the mindset, but also it is difficult for us, you have to understand that Africa, even though we are suffering, we're in the midst of plenty. There was still some sovereignty. People could eat. Our education was still, even though we didn't have formal education, we were still connected to our traditional education. So people knew things.
Yeah.
You understand? They weren't stupid. They weren't hungry and stupid. You understand? They were just oppressed. So they could look beyond the next meal. They could sacrifice. They could fight. And we are tired of this situation. You understand? But we live in a situation today where those things have been, education has been taken, hunger has been enforced. So it's probably a harder decision to make today. You understand? So I see a lot of people, even the lecturer that is taking bribe, if it was paid well, will he take bribe? Who knows? Right? If our police were paid maybe $40,000, $50,000 a year salary, and giving free housing, free education for their children, free healthcare, would they be like that on the road? Who knows? Because whether we like it or not, we are all products of our elites who educate us. And if I've read Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed, you know that we are all oppressors. Until we take a moment to self-reflect. You have to self-reflect. Me too, until I read that book and realized I didn't know that being trained by my oppressor made me an oppressor. Even among musicians that continue to shout, hey, I like the people, Look at anybody, you want to give anybody money, we start behaving like our oppressor. Because we've been taught in society that they are the examples of society. That is how to be.
All right, let's take a few more messages and then we'll wrap this up. This is coming from Siju saying, good morning, Ify and Seun. Big Brad, I totally agree with your deep thinking and school of thought. This is coming from a listener saying, it's not only politicians who keep the new notes at home in Bayelsa. Bus driver said he has enough new naira notes stored in his house. Chika is saying, Shewa, I feel you as always, but can I ask, who knew about Labour Party before Obi joined them? Is it not Labour Party that took opportunity of Obi's character?
Why can you talk like this? Labour Party, everybody knew Labour Party.
This is coming from Kelorensky saying, meanwhile, Shewa, I know if it reach P Square, this una wahala and are just people with different opinions with some level of emotions attached. This is coming from a listener saying, please tell... Okay. I'm not going to read that. This one is coming from a listener saying, if Peter Obi wasn't in politics before now, he could pass for an opportunist. The implication of not concentrating your energy on a short-term decision of presidential candidate is that you give legitimacy to the wrong candidates. If some candidate on the ballot wins, the media you enjoy can be gone. They ran this already. After 4 years and the deed is done. This one is coming from a listener saying, thank you, Seun, for mentioning the educational sector. Just last night, my sister in Unilag running a DLI was complaining about if she should go ahead or just stick to her fashion career. This is coming from a listener, sorry. Wanola saying, I would like to ask Seun about where and how the people need to take over, which he often mentions. You know what, we can't touch on that right now because we have run out of time, but don't worry, this happens every Friday from 11 a.m. so we'll keep talking about this, the build up towards the elections 2023. Miami saying good morning, Big Bird. Don't mind them, boss. We are solidly behind you. All right, it's 12 and this is where we say goodbye. Thank you so much to everyone who was a part of the show. We have been getting calls. Seun Kuti's Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us, and via our Instagram